College and university campuses are constantly attempting to foster educational excellence while simultaneously promoting equal access. An integral part of advancing our higher education system is to build on the collective mission to create diverse and welcoming college campuses for all students of all backgrounds and proficiencies. In an article taken from the Global Education Review titled A Perspective of Inclusion, Challenges for the Future, Braunsteiner and Lapidus stated that oftentimes, students of color and/or lower socioeconomic status face barriers to educational opportunities due to their learning environments. Separate schools, classrooms, or marginalization within the mainstream setting create different and often less robust educational experiences, and yet the worth of these children is measured by the same standardized test scores used with every other child. According to the U.S. Department of Education, Black and Hispanic students are less likely to be enrolled in college and far less likely to be enrolled in selective and four-year institutions than their white and Asian peers. In 2015, the college enrollment rate for recent high school graduates was more than 70% for white students, but was only 55% for Black students. These statistics suggest that students of color are lacking in equal access to these prestigious four-year schools that usually boast higher graduation rates and better job opportunities for students post-graduation. Factors like these can have a significant impact on the student's ability to graduate from college. Collectively, institutions must work to overcome the gap in admittance by focusing on groups of individuals who are often misrepresented. An article written by Menti Kabide and Catherine Darowicz explained a current project being led at Georgetown University. The focus of the initiative is threefold: composition, culture, and curriculum in schools. A group of academic leaders from top international affairs schools in order to address the lack of focus on diversity and inclusion and collaborate in developing innovative solutions. Another researcher, Tiffany Brannon of the University of California, Los Angeles, provides evidence that school settings can affirm identity among members of negatively stereotyped groups by, for instance, incorporating diverse cultural ideas and practices within academic courses or extracurricular activities. Here at Monmouth, we are looking to improve the importance of diversity inclusion in three areas. 1. Ensuring a comprehensive, holistic diversity and inclusion agenda across the university. 2. Creating a more inclusive campus experience by improving education and training, programming, and curriculum integration. And lastly, recruiting and retaining a more diverse workforce and student body. Monmouth celebrates diversity and inclusion through a number of clubs and organizations that are open to all students. We also have several departments on campus, including our own Office of Equity and Diversity, that serves as a vital resource and leader in promoting and furthering the university's commitment to diversity and equal opportunity for all members of its community. In order to better understand how Monmouth represents diversity and inclusion on campus, I sat down and talked with Amy Arlequin, the Deputy Title IX Coordinator and Clery Compliance Officer. Here are a few questions from my interview. So, what is the primary role of the Office of Equity and Diversity in Monmouth's campus?
So our primary role is our office handles any complaints or reports of harassment or discrimination based on a protected class. We also handle any reports based on Title IX and the university's sexual misconduct policy. And we also do awareness and educational training throughout campus on all of these topics. So we go and talk to classes, we talk to faculty, we talk at parent orientation, student orientation, we talk to sports teams, all the different groups, as I said, organizations, fraternities, first year seminars, and we try to share as much information on all these topics as we can.
Okay. Do you have any? Okay. Number 2 is how do we best implement diversity and inclusion at Monmouth?
See, this was the question that I was like, this one was definitely one that I had to think for a little while. But as I was thinking about it, I think the best way to start is to have a conversation and to talk to people in the Monmouth community and see what diversity and inclusion is to them, because every single campus is different.
Diversity is about inputs in terms of just getting the numbers there, and then once people are there, having them feel like everyone feel like this institution is a place of belonging. Who's going to direct that work? And so The most concrete thing is to have a director of diversity or inclusion to sort of be full-time. That's their number one job. I think sometimes schools have this as an add-on. Oh, you're a full-time teacher, you talk about diversity in your classroom, we want to give you this extra role. But to have a full-time director, like sort of seeing sort of the systems level and being able to sit full-time. And when I say seat at the table, it's more than just presence there. I think acknowledging in terms of how much weight your voice has at that table is equally important.
Lorna Schmidt is a professor at Monmouth University and also the Director of Advising of Communication. Here is what she had to say about diversity as it pertains to her classroom.
Most of our classrooms are somewhat diverse, not always, but I think it's important that the classroom understands, or the people in the class understand that we're all diverse in some way. For my classes are considered a safe zone for topics, for questions, etc. So if there is a question that comes up having to do with diversity, we deal with it directly. We don't beat around the bush. It should be a question that can be asked and honestly answered and understood from all directions.
In order to move inclusivity forward, all students must be given equal access and opportunity to all institutions at all levels of schooling. With this, school admissions teams must value diversity when accepting applicants into their colleges and universities. Along with the student body, institutions must also strive towards recruiting teacher candidates with disabilities and with diverse cultural, migrant, and other backgrounds. It is very important that the professors match that of the students, helping to embody the diversity that the viewpoints of inclusion on campuses call for. Teachers and professors must become familiar with new methods of incorporating all students into the learning material. Leadership education will encourage diversity in the classroom by involving everyone in making each individual's thoughts and ideas matter.